All the leaves are brown and the sky's AI because you got back from Los Angeles and an AI conference. That was smooth.
Wow, that is the worst intro I could have ever expected. You said, "Oh, I have a great intro for today." Well, that wasn't it. Today, we're going to talk about my trip to Los Angeles, where I went to LA Tech Week and spoke to many people in the industry. And I tried to understand, how do people do this across the pond? Then we're going to talk about the newest developments and what we see happening in the industry when it comes to the usage of AI and video, and how some people have very, very strong opinions on it. So, without further ado, let's start. I went to LA last week and I spent a week talking to people in the industry. What shocked me was to realize that Hollywood, something that I always associated with being at the forefront of technology, being at the forefront of filmmaking, is actually not that at all. Being in London, we actually stole so many productions from Hollywood because London became way more friendly to film production companies. Obviously, it's all about tax incentives, so it's just cheaper and more cost effective to shoot something in London. If you hire British actors, there are additional tax incentives. Maybe that's the reason why the last two Spider-Man actors were British. I guess we'll never know. So, going to LA, I expected to see people really embracing new tech, and it's not the case because the structure of filmmaking is this legacy behemoth that nobody can really topple, that nobody can really dismantle, because there are so many guilds, there are so many unions, there are so many lawyers, agents, everybody involved to make a movie. You really need $200 to $300 million to make the simplest movie in LA, and this is just not feasible for a lot of companies. So I went to a couple of panels, and I had the guy Robert Turchak debate on stage why AI is a potential solution to this problem. And yes, this is a potential solution that can bring efficiencies to an industry that's right now so bloated. We spoke about this in previous episodes, how Marvel movies are extremely bloated, how all of the productions are not environmentally friendly, they're not sustainable. And all of this is just to build a set, shoot on it for a few scenes and dismantle it and move on. So AI could actually be a tool that will reduce the costs. And this is what this industry needs, because the industry is in decline. People are not going to movies as much. And it used to be that cable was an amazing business model where you could make a movie and syndicate it to different states, different countries, different regions, and collect ongoing revenue for years. So even if the movie didn't do well in cinema, later on it was, VHS, DVD, Blu-rays, syndication that would bring the dough that was necessary, right? But now, after Netflix, and we all love having access to all of the movies for a flat subscription fee, but Netflix actually destroyed the industry as it was. Yes, it revolutionized it, but it threw so much venture capital money at content production that it exacerbated the problem of the costs ballooning. And right now it seems like filmmakers, if they want to make something and actually not compromise on their vision, they need to get out of Hollywood. They need to get out of LA. They need to get out of the legacy system. And there are a lot of calls inside of LA to embrace the future. And I'm not saying to embrace the future as AI, but just imagine the impact that the strikes had on the industry as a whole. And all the filmmakers, the actors, the screenwriters, they think that they're winning, but they're winning a battle in California. They're still losing the war that's global. Because let's say they win the copyright or whatever restrictions that you cannot write a script using AI in California. Somebody's just going to do it in China. Somebody's going to do it in Madrid, in London, in Portugal, where people just don't care as much. And you're just not competitive. So the problem is, how do you stay competitive with an industry that's so entrenched in the old way of doing things? London also has a little bit of the problem here, but not as much as LA, I don't think. What do you think, then?
I think you're right. It's the legacy loving its own ego a little bit. You know, like I said, it's got a litany of trade unions in American history, so let alone in the film industry itself, covering every role, every department. I actually think there's an opportunity here. I think everything you were saying then, I couldn't help thinking like, great. And this is going to sound weird because I think it's now the time of the rise or re-rise of indie filmmakers who are embracing AI. You know, it's the, like you said, people who don't want to compromise their vision. They have a cool, unique story to tell. And now they've been given the tools to tell that in the best way possible, or at least the way they want to tell it, without having a $200-300 million budget that will just, you know, go down the pan eventually. I think personally, like, I love Hollywood. You know, I'm a big, like, the legacy, the vision, the fantasy of it. Oh yeah, it's great. Was great. It was a thing we idolize and kind of fantasize a little bit, but now it's a new world. And I know we've always talked about my stance, and my stance is changing. We talk about this weekly, like, you know, I'm actually using bits here and there. I think if you're smart, I think Hollywood isn't the icon of cinema anymore. It isn't. It used to be. It's not. It's a global stage. And I think those who can now use those tools to make their films, get it sold, get it out there. I'm quite excited because it feels like, do you know when A24 came around, you're like, oh my God, finally something different, you know? I'm feeling like that right now. There's nothing in the cinema that I really want to go see because I'm like, oh, same old shit, you know? So it's actually, if anything, excites me because it's opened the gates now for other people to come in and make a film. So that's like, yeah, that's my sense. I think, okay, Hollywood, you're going to play catch up. But by the time you get there, there's going to be already 4, 5, 6 really good films. And I'm talking like films that are like, shit, that's the new wave. And we're due a new wave, actually, historically at the moment. You know, throughout history, we are due a new wave in cinema. And I think this could be the crank that opens up the floodgates a little bit to start that stream, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? It's so funny because you're flipping that way, and I used to think, up until very recently, maybe that trip, that AI video and overall democratizing of content creation and enabling you to make whatever, whenever, is going to enable us to have new content, new voices. And I still believe that. However, I also realized, because I went to a screening where they screened many short AI films over the course of 2 30-minute blocks. And I was watching the audience watch these movies. And I'll tell you that as much as I would love to disagree with your take from previous podcasts, people don't connect with the current AI movies at all. Most of the audience was so disconnected. Most of the audience was a little bit bored talking with one another. This might be the case that the event was mostly networking and, you know, it wasn't in the cinema. But as I was having discussions with other people at my table, I realized that nobody really cared about any of these films. And the big repeatable thing that I saw in these movies is the limitation of the medium, which is there were very few films that utilized actual talking characters. And without that, you basically end up with a poem or a voiceover with some random clips that try to tell the story.
You mean an Instagram reel?
Exactly. You basically end up with an Instagram reel, which is like, get ready with me or see my day in the office, but it's medieval nights. And the one good thought there was that we still don't have the Finchers, the Scorseses that embrace this new medium. It's just hobbies, enthusiasts, and people who are very technical or inside of the studios. But there isn't David Fincher who's actually going to care meticulously about every single shot, and he's going to produce a 2-hour epic movie, right? And that is because nobody's funding this, because there's no distribution for it. So while there are new funds, there are new companies that are giving up to $500,000 to make an AI movie. Yeah.
Give me that in credit. Give me that in pure credit and watch me fucking roll. Give me 500,000 credits on Kling. I will see you at the end of the year with 6 features.
You know what? You say that. But if you sign up for Gemini Ultra for $200 a month, you get unlimited VO3 fast. So you can produce whatever you want. You have 5,000 clips
So
if you
I
want.
can pocket the rest basically and just, yeah. Okay.
And yes, and you know what? That is actually a very good thing that you just said. Because without being able to pocket it, without being able to be paid for that work, there is no industry around it. And the way that some people, like the head of Secret Level Studios, that was there at the event, she said that even though brands come to them to be like, hey, make me an AI ad, they don't expect it to be ultimately so much cheaper than the regular ad. Because they come for an AI ad not for the cost, but for this being new, this being crazy, this being more fun, this being something that can be done. And the lowest engagement that you can get with such a company starts at around $125,000 for an AI ad.
Is that company running an agency model? Because that's
yeah, they represent directors. So if you are a director, the company is going to get, I don't know, whatever percentage of that, and then you're giving a budget of $50K, $100K, and if you pocket everything, that's fine if the output is good. But all they care about is the output. And it's very similar if you actually think about the ads that we worked on and the productions we worked on. The clients don't really care a lot about how the sausage is made. They care about, do we like the final product? And us as filmmakers are like, oh my God, I shot this on a virtual production stage. Oh, I basically shot Star Wars, right? At the end of the day, if it doesn't look good, it doesn't look good. And the same with AI. And that flipped my thinking. And I'm really glad that I went to LA to talk to people who sell this stuff. Because here, in London, in the UK, and us embracing it, we think about the cost. But this is the wrong way of thinking. We can say we can deliver better value, because for the same amount of money, it's not just going to pay 10 times less. You're going to pay the same, 100K for an ad, but I'm going to show you 50 versions of it. And you can ask and get anything you want. Yes.
I'm going to redub it. I'm going to localize it. Yeah.
And if you want to, if your client says at revision number 13, I think we need to change the main actor to a different race and different gender. You're like, cool, not a problem. Just going to take additional 2-3 weeks. It's not like, oh, I need to get on set. So we should flip the thinking from cost saving to the flexibility, the time, and the value of this being new and crazy. The ideas that you couldn't do before.
Interesting, because again, I've turned like what I sent you last night. Right, when I was I've been working on my short film.
When you said this to me last night as we were falling asleep next to each other.
Yeah, you don't spoon me anymore. It's like you don't want to touch me. Cut that out. Last night I was editing my short film and about 95% there. But there was something I stumbled across. I was like, oh, I could do this. But I didn't have one extra shot they needed. And I went through everything and I used Kling. And I made a shot and I showed you it. And I was like, fuck me. This looks good. I sent it to a few friends in America, in LA, and they were like, holy shit. And I'm now at this point where I think I'm not completely on the full AI, for sure, for like adverts maybe, but I think there's such a unique opportunity here to blend the two, just to get people on board who agree with it. Like I asked my actor, he was like, yeah, dude, tell the story. I don't care. Like we made a film together. Tell it best you want to tell it. I'm like, fucking great. I go in, shoot a day of 14 sides on a short film, going, okay, I wish I had a few more shots. I can now insert them, make them look great, and tell the story the best. That's why I think That's why I think it's clever, and that's why I'm actually genuinely really excited about it. I'm going through my short film and I'm going, oh God, I wish, oh look, I can turn that shot into a crane shot. I can do this. So now I'm almost thinking of it as effects tab in my Premiere Pro, you know? That's what's exciting me, and I think that's what people should be doing at the moment. Go out and shoot your short film. Fucking great. You're getting on set with a camera. You get in there, great. Oh man, I want to do this, but I can't afford it. Cool, yeah, go get a subscription for $29.99 a month at Higgsfield, and then the world's your oyster. I'm now in this camp. Or need to film, but the person doesn't want to give me credit for my low budget film. But yeah, so I think that's what people should be looking at now. Personally, for advertising, yeah, cool. Full end AI, why not? You know, a brand doesn't care. But
I think it's just going to blend. Like, it's going to become a spectrum of how much one or the other is used in a film.
A hybrid, I bet that you could, or full electric. That's literally what we're at.
Yeah, and you could potentially do a film, you know, where you have just like one shot of a real human and the rest is AI, as well as all of the film is real stuff and just like one shot is AI. I think that's going to be the spectrum. But the thing that I kind of went on a tangent and I forgot to kind of tie off the whole point I was trying to make was that now that everybody can make something, I do believe, yes, that is going to enable more voices to break through the noise. However, the limitation is still going to be who has the highest agency, the highest drive, the highest urgency to produce something amazing. Because if you think about it, it's actually the bar for getting the pitch for a movie made has just gone way, way, way higher. You could have done something, you could have raised money for a movie before just using a deck, just using a couple of mood board slides, a script.
Get a star attached, you know, sell the whole thing. Yeah.
Whereas now you actually need to make quite a bit of the movie using AI to actually pitch it. And this shows that, again, it's going to be the best storytellers who not only have the skills, I truly believe you could do that, but the people who have the enough urgency and drive to spend an unreasonable amount of time on a short AI video. And I know from, again, talking to people in LA, but also from seeing people in the interviews and on Twitter talk about how much time it takes to make a 1 minute good AI video. And it's not a prompt. It's not one evening. To make something good and engaging, it could take you multiple weeks, if not months. And another thing, as we spoke about, you know, the 100K for a video, a lot of the videos that I saw were not made by one or two people. It was teams of people working on them. So you still want the collaboration. You still want the collision of the worlds, of the opinions, and people going, this works, this doesn't work, instead of being in your own bubble as you make a film. So if you have a team of people, somebody's going to focus on the audio, somebody's going to focus on the cinematography, the consistency, and another person is driving the story, then this is the next level. This is the next level of AI videos. This is the next level from somebody just sitting in their basement seeing, oh, a new AI video model came out, let me put together some clips. No, this is going to be the filmmaking part, but it's going to be a team of 5 people instead of 500 working on it.
It'd be interesting. The next few years are going to be very interesting. We had a discussion 3 years ago when you and I first started this conversation, and look how far we've come in these last 3 years. I just wonder now in the next 3 years where it's going to be at. Also, would I sound like a bit of a dick if I said, this is great, the tools have open to everyone, but should everyone be able to use them? So this is something I've been thinking about a lot. Is cool, like you've lowered the bar to entry to be a filmmaker or what, you know, but would that then saturate the medium and then cause almost like a depression-like structure in the film industry? You know, it's the same reason in Wall Street, everyone started investing, everyone started to get rich, and bang, you know, because everything got shit. But what now? should there be a bar to entry to do this? What do you think? Because that's something I'm really unsure about at the moment, because if I have someone clogging up my feed, or these people whacking stuff in film festivals, and it's just like, oh, great, this isn't great, this is shit. Like, how do you stand out now? Or should, I don't know, I'm going with this. Like, what is the level to entry? Who should be able to use these tools? Should it be everyone? Or should it be just those who can write a good story?
I think that tools shouldn't really be too restricted in terms of who can use them, but how you can use them. And if you want to tell a story, go for it. If you want to create misinformation, then this should be really, really heavily moderated. And yes, I don't think you should be able to just easily make a video that has anything, let's say, realistic in the prompt, like how you say, make it realistic, make it cinematic, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Or looking like a CCTV camera where you can put a prominent public figure into a fake video showing them stealing, showing them berating someone, and destroy a potential presidential candidate using a fake AI video. Because let's be honest, there are so many videos right now that people cannot tell the difference. And with bad internet, bad TV quality, most people's TVs are not, some high quality models, and they already apply a lot of smoothing, and they make the image look just like crap. So I think that the biggest problem is the misinformation and creating too much fake content that serves some nefarious purposes. Where you have seen with Sora 2, nobody wants to use a social network without other actual humans in it. It was hot for a moment and everybody forgot. It's still just being used for fun. The clips we sometimes send to each other, which are funny. But that's the thing. Those clips would have been funny regardless of whether they're made with AI or not. It's just basically somebody taking a...
We can't let those clips leak what we send to each other, because this would be over so quickly.
But I watched something where now that Instagram shows who liked a video, some of these videos that we enjoy, we just share with each other instead of liking. And if you look at the ratios, you will see that a video could have like 5,000 likes, but 50,000 shares. That means that somebody cannot like it publicly, but is going to share it with his group chat. So that's kind of the idea here. But again, I really, really, really despise that feeling when I watch a video and 4 seconds in, I'm like, oh, it's tricked. That's not real. And I got tricked recently. I saw a compilation of cute videos. We're watching with my wife, and it was like, we have a son, so if there's any like baby video, we respond emotionally to it if it's cute. And there was a video of a baby like trying to get his giant dog to bark. And the dog barks and the baby laughs. And we're like, oh, that's so cute. And the next clip, and the next clip. And my wife was like, hey, what's this AI? And I was like, no, like they wouldn't do a baby and a dog AI. It was just funny. And then a couple of videos later, that same thing showed up. And I was like, oh my God, this is AI. I hate it now. And again, from all of our discussions, I was on the other side, right? Like literally a couple of weeks ago. But it's the case of knowing that something is fake when it pretends to be real. When you make a film, the whole idea of making a film rests on
not real.
Suspension of disbelief. I sit down in the cinema, or I turn on the TV, I grab my popcorn, and then the credits roll, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be transported into this fantasy land that doesn't exist, but I wish existed, but it's really fun, and it's really crazy, creative. It was a good movie, it was a bad movie, but I knew the premise was same as going to actual real life theater with actors, right? You know that this guy is not actually...
We are all in agreement. We're making the deal. I'm walking in here. This is what we're going to do. Great.
Exactly. And if somebody breaks that agreement and says, hey, the video that you watched was a trick by AI, then it sucks. However, there are people that kind of like to subvert the expectations. There are brands that make a video that you're like, oh wow, there's somebody who's like, they stole the phone and then they're chasing them, and then at the end is this guy showcasing his new drop of like sweatpants and sweatshirts, and I'm like, merch. I'm like, that's funny, but that's funny because it subverted expectations in a way that was funny, not trying to trick me for the sake of getting clout or likes, but trying to trick me and then revealing the trick.
This makes me think of, do you know how Orson Welles got famous, right? How he really shot to fame. So back in Yonder, when radio dramas were the whole thing before TV, people would tune into radio dramas. You know, I still listen to them now. I think they're great. Great medium. He put on a Halloween special of him doing War of the Worlds. You know, so but he re-edited it and presented it as a news broadcast, you know. But the problem was people were channel surfing back then because the timing schedules were a bit overlapped. So as one show was finishing, they scanned to his show and they completely missed the whole intro by "Welcome to Campbell Studios Theatre, blah, blah, blah." And it was a news broadcast that Martians had landed in New Jersey. Okay? This whole thing went on for about 40 minutes and the East Coast lost their mind. Estimated around 5 million people genuinely shit themselves, genuinely packed up their shit, got out their house and bolted, all right? The police came knocking halfway through, like telling Mr. Wells, we have to tell everyone this is not real, you know? And he had to go on the road and tell it. But then after that, shot to film. The man who tricked 5 million Americans to think actual Martians would land in New Jersey and causing havoc and killing people and destroying property. Now, I think there's an opportunity to do that again. And I think that's what we're talking about here. This like of the tricking. Did he mean to do it? He says he didn't, but let's fucking face it, he knew exactly what he was doing. So I'm wondering now, is there like a space to have that happen and using AI to do that? Or would that, do you think, just be a straight up dick move? Because that's a real interesting social experiment.
I think the time to do that was maybe a year ago, because I think we unfortunately crossed the Rubicon on AI when now we all assume that the unbelievable videos are AI. We all assume that more and more stuff is AI unless it explicitly says that this is real. Photoshop, visual effects, people trying to fake UFO videos, and now with AI having this at your fingertips, you know, as you're like, I don't know, as you're on a tube going to work and you can make a video and post it and say, hey, this is what happened. I think people fundamentally just don't believe in anything they see anymore, which makes it again problematic for public figures, because you can literally commit a crime and say, oh, the video of the crime, sorry, that's AI. Like just wear a glove with an additional finger on it, right? And like, oh, you see the hands? Yeah, this is not real. And yeah, it's really problematic if we cannot believe in everything that we see.
I'm just thinking, because when I was back at school, actually, when we were studying film, you remember the film Cloverfield, one of the first So one of the biggest things people didn't know about that film, there was the most unbelievable technological advance at the time, PR campaign, where the internet was still hot shit, you know. It was like 2008, like people getting fast internet now and not after dial-up. They did a whole litany of websites about this monster, you know, so fake Japanese folklore historian websites about this monster that lives underneath. Real life websites of fishermen going missing. A girlfriend doing a vlog about her boyfriend who went sailing one day and never came back. All these little Easter eggs all over the internet. And then when you get in that hole, it's like, holy shit. So the reason I'm talking about that now is, imagine you and I make a film together, right? We make a really cool feature film, and we just create an absolute shit ton of AI UGC type thing, release it into the wild, let people put the dots together, and then it all points to the film. See, like, as a marketing campaign, as a PR, see, that's a cool use for AI. That's like, we're not trying to trick you, we're just trying to envelop you in our world a little bit earlier than going into the cinema. I think that's a cool use for it.
That's what The Dark Knight did with the promotion in 2008, obviously not using AI, but I think this is a really good idea, because AI could supercharge this. There was a campaign where you needed to connect the dots and unlock the website showcasing something about the Joker. Yeah, I think that's actually really cool. That's it. Looking for some experiences that are adjacent to releasing a movie, something that makes the whole experience more interactive, building a community around it. Yeah, I think this is the use case of AI that really, this is really exciting. This is a really exciting point. But to wrap up our episode today, I wanted to talk about one more thing about my trip to LA. Did you know that I went to LA? I don't think I said it enough.
Did you go to LA? Oh, should they rename it LAI?
Oh, I think they would hate that.
They would so hate that.
Yeah, but there was a discussion that I mentioned about copyright, and I found it very fascinating when people try to draw a line between what can you claim the copyright over and what you cannot. So there was already a lot of it in the age of YouTube when it comes to transformative part of art. So whether you can use 3 seconds or 6 seconds of somebody else's movie, can you do a commentary, can you do a documentary while using somebody else's content? You know, all of this has been in the works for multiple decades
fair usage, all those things that go around in it. Yeah.
Exactly. And nowadays with AI, there's an argument from creatives that, AI is just like, it's just scanned all of the previous works and is just stealing artists' work and producing something new. And again, we talked about this ad nauseum, where we said, as humans, we learn, and the same way AI just learns and creates completely new pixels that are not reproduced. However, there's still a problem around if you use generative AI to make a movie or to make an ad, can you actually copyright it? Can you actually secure that intellectual property for yourself? A lot of people said, no, you cannot do that. And I don't care, but apparently a lot of companies that spend money on that ad would care that they can claim copyright over it for some reason. Again, this is a broader discussion. But the guy on stage, Robert Tershek, he made a great point. He talked about using an iPhone. Have you ever taken a picture with your iPhone?
Yes, I have, Mick.
Great. Thank you for this layup. So basically, if you take a picture with your iPhone, what a lot of people don't realize, but if you watched official keynotes from Apple, you will know that your iPhone doesn't actually just take a picture. Your iPhone takes between 4 and 8, maybe 16 pictures at the same time, and then uses artificial intelligence, its photonic engine, to assemble all of these pictures into the best looking photo it can. The computational photography happens in every phone nowadays because there are very small sensors, very small lenses. So the only way to compete with actual cameras is to use a lot of compute and make that picture with artificial intelligence. So every time you pressed a button to take a photo of your iPhone, you actually just triggered AI to assemble a photo out of what the camera lenses see. And that leads to a question. Does this mean that every single picture you've ever taken using your smartphone, you cannot really claim the copyright over? Because it was not actually you taking the picture, but it was the AI putting it together. So it's not that different from saying in a prompt, give me this, or take this picture and make it into a video. So now we're in a very, very slippery slope.
Yeah. Well, so you could go back even further, actually. Like, let's go a step back. Let's go back to analog. Are you actually taking the picture, or is it just the film product exposing it and credit on there? So can you actually own anything? Oh my God, are we going into communism? No, we're not.
No, but if you think about any camera that actually you point a camera at something, the sensor itself, like, it just gives a signal, but that signal needs to be processed and it's interpreted by the processors inside of the cameras, right? So if you start taking everything apart further and further back, you'll realize that you're just using the tools. You're just directing the tools to do something for you. Color grading, editing is still just directing the tools. They're executing it. So if you treat AI as a tool, that you're directing the tool to execute your vision, then you either copyright everything or nothing. However, there are many cases in progress in the US, and US is a case law. So however many of these cases swing however many of these cases swing one way or the other, that's going to be used going forward as a precedent. So this is a very cool way to actually think about copyright, the creativity, and how AI is going to be changing this filmmaking world. Because I didn't expect Hollywood to be where it is now, and I did not expect the immediate future to be as impacted by these developments.
It's when you think about it, going back to how you started this whole conversation, the giant, the Goliath, the legacy, which is Hollywood, is actually the one further behind. And considering that we are probably in one of the worst periods of theatrical releases for films, for financial economics for the film industry, you'd be grabbing straws at everything you could, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And they're not. So is it ego? Is it people? Tune in next week and find out if we can find out the origin of what is the problem with Hollywood. Why is it failing? I'm saying this like we're going to do it, but it's just interesting thought to explore. Wow.
It is. And a lot of people are actually, this is driven by the people. That was your question right now.
Yeah.
It's the unions, it's the people that are scared of this new tech. And these people drive their representatives to put these roadblocks, to do strikes, to talk to the executives at the studios. But the problem is, again, the studios have all the power. The studios have the money. The movie is not going to happen at all if the studio doesn't pay for it. So at the end of the day, all these unions, from screenwriters to actors, are going to have to go back to the negotiating table that they left and they thought they won. But now they'll have even less leverage. And the studios are actively using AI. We saw Netflix saying, and I talked to the executives at Netflix, and now I can say that because they said it openly, they're embracing AI fully. They don't really care how, the audiences perceive it, because let's be honest, 99% of the audiences, they just care about the good story and they don't care how their McDonald's burger is made. Right? So on that note, tune in next week and we're going to explore more of the studio dramas and what's going on in the film industry and how you could use it for your own benefit.
And next week, I'm going to show you clips from my short film and get you to see if they're AI or if they're real. There we go.
Ooh, if it's Dimi's short film, you guys feel free to skip next week.
Goodbye.